Welcome to the BJ Show. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Come on, everybody. Let's lose control. Brad and John never wants to follow. Yeah, ready for the ride. It's the BJ Show. BJ Show.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Is that what we start off the show with, John? Pay no attention to the mistake.
I can tell you spent your whole weekend watching Wicked, Brad. Yes, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Do you know that's only part one? Do you know that whole story?
Oh, trust me, Brad. I'm familiar with the fact there's a Wicked 2 coming out. Trust me.
Okay. John must have some female influence in his life. Okay. This is the Brad and John Show. Hold on a minute. My voice is gone already. John, I'm going to start off this show by asking someone, and we're going to get to John's top three, and just would you give me 30 seconds here, please?
Yeah, of course.
I need a referral from an ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor. Do you have one by any chance? You gave me a great referral on a dentist who I love, the dentist you referred me to. Do you have an ENT referral?
I don't have an ENT guy or gal. I don't, Brad.
Okay. When I tell you what I'm going to tell you, you're going to say that can't be the case. Okay? I think I have a obstruction in my throat, and I'm almost positive I know what it is. You know what it is?
I have no idea.
A feather. Okay, and you may say...
from a pillow?
Well, I have a down blanket. Now, first off, I'm not the kind of guy that normally has down blanket. Actually, it's a weird story of how I acquired this. It was left in my place by a previous tenant, okay? And I thought to myself, should I throw it out? Nah, I'll just throw it in the washing machine and clean it, which was a mistake because I know there's special things you do for downs. Anyway, one of the little pockets has developed a rip, and the feathers, when I move around at night, fly around, and on a couple different occasions, I wake up in the morning with a feather in my mouth. I mean, like, it'd wake me up like, oh, my God, what's that? I'd inhale a feather. Well, I think I have one stuck in my throat, and this has been like for a month now. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, why do I have this thing where I cough? And I've had chest x-rays recently and been to the doctor, and I don't have any problem with that, although I did have a cough and a cold. But I think I have a feather lodged in my throat. So my listeners out there, if you have a good ENT, and I don't know if I need a referral from a doctor or stuff like that, give me a name. Text me 314-280-8880. Okay, that is John Combest. Every single day of his life, he puts together this incredible list of all the important stuff that you should know that's going on in the state of Missouri. We bring in this guy, even though he's buried in Norway somewhere. We bring in this guy.
I'm Casey Kasem.
And what does he do?
We're on our way to the number one.
He counts them down, and we start off with John, in which is number?
In third place.
Brad, if you need to clear that obstruction in your throat, a little hot sauce might work. And you can go to El Maguey in O'Fallon today, but you couldn't go on Thursday. We talked about this issue on Friday, Brad, but we had no idea, or I had no idea, that that El Maguey was at the center of a controversy. Brad, on Friday, did you happen to see the story about El Mags?
Yeah, you know what? I have mixed emotions about this. I really do.
Okay, well, let's talk about the mixed emotions, because I think we all love a good platter from El Mags. But for folks who hadn't seen the story, on Thursday, at least 3 workers, which is 1 manager and 2 cooks, were taken away by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, a.k.a. ICE, from the El Mags out in O'Fallon, right off Highway K. So I should point out that come to see on Twitter that there's a gentleman in St. Charles County, a guy named Jake Jackson, who had actually been tweeting about this. I missed his original tweet, and then when the Post-Dispatch finally got around to reporting on this, Jake Jackson pointed out that he had been talking about this and had seen this on Facebook long before the Post-Dispatch covered it. So credit to Jake Jackson there. The point is, Brad, this piece is brought to us by Hannah Wyman of the Post-Dispatch. And what's unclear about this piece is that Miss Wyman doesn't make it clear if these 3 folks were indeed here illegally. Now, she points out that all of them have a hearing in Kansas City in December at immigration court in Kansas City. So connecting the dots, Brad, that tells me these 3 people are here illegally. And she didn't say in this story, Miss Wyman didn't say, when asked about their immigration status, these 3 folks said XYZ. She did interview the gentleman who is the manager at the LMOGs. His name is Uber Ramos. Now, you know Uber, he's a direct descendant of Taxi. And he's got a twin brother named Lyft. And Uber Ramos said that he came to the restaurant on Thursday and folks were waiting for him. They took him downtown. They questioned him. They got 2 allegedly illegal alien cooks coming in the back door of LMOGs. And so, Brad, the restaurant closed on Thursday, but it reopened again Friday. And so this is, we'd heard a lot of rumors, a lot of scare tactics about how ICE would be breaking down immigration schemes. But it looks like maybe they really are in motion. Now, Brad, tell me about your mixed emotions about this.
Well,
does it have to do with the fact that these folks are actually working and doing something for a living? Exactly.
I thought the first phase was going to be they're going to go after all the criminals. But I do understand what they're doing is this is the old, we're going to make an example. Because everybody's going to go, oh, my God, they're going after everybody now. They're making a living. Now, you don't know if there is criminal background in these 3 people or not. I mean, that has not come to light, correct?
Correct. They say, and let me interject too, they say this Mr. Ramos guy says that he has no criminal record, and he said that the 2 cooks were released and given a court date in December because they apparently had no criminal record either. So maybe ICE suspected they had criminal records. I don't know.
Well, so in other words, they're not detained. They're back out again then, right?
Correct. You're right about that. Yeah, they just have a court date. If they're still here in the country in December, they have a court date in Kansas City at an immigration hearing.
Well, I don't feel that's not too bad because of the fact that I thought they were going to end up on a plane this morning and go back in Mexico or something like that.
No. I think they're back making the number 4 combo special, which is delicious.
Well, but this is Brad, okay? This is Brad, and I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm somewhere in between. I'm this libertarian guy, okay? And unfortunately, this is one of these things where this is the gray area. And to me, you want to get the TDA guys out of the country. Remember that crazy thing in Aurora, Colorado, where the mayor came out and said, oh, we don't have a problem here. And then the video comes out of these guys busting down doors in the apartment complex with AR-15s and Glocks and things like that. Oh, there's no problem in Aurora. I can't believe the mayor said that. But anyway.
Exactly.
These guys are making a living, Have they broken the law? Yeah. But, and once again, I'm this guy that says, okay, if you're going to be literal about the law, then you set the radar up on I-70. You set it up for 61, and everybody who drives 61 and above gets a ticket. Because, once again, I'm the guy driving the speed limit. Everybody else is flying by me like I'm standing still. They're breaking the law. Are they being thrown in jail? They getting a ticket? No. I think
this is your argument, I think, to throw Shelley Barr in jail.
No, I think it's one of these things where I think it's sort of a common sense kind of thing, I mean, Jamie Allman used to always say his show was common sense, but it wasn't because of the fact that there was no gray in his life. It was all black and white, okay? And to me, there's lots of gray. And if these guys are making a living and they're showing up for work every day, and I assume they're getting paid with they're paying taxes and things like that, and the food must be good.
I think that's a big assumption that they're getting a paycheck and not getting cash. I mean, I think that's one of the considerations, don't you think?
I don't know. I mean, if that's the case, wouldn't the IRS people be there checking into that as well too?
I think the IRS has plenty to do. I think all of our law enforcement has plenty to do.
Well, no.
Instead of having law enforcement, with the radar set at 61 to pull over Shelley Barr, I'd rather they were cracking down on illegal aliens.
Well, But remember now, you said a falsehood there because I'm going to correct you. Because remember, Joe Biden hired 80,000 more IRS agents, so they got lots of agents now. They don't have.
That's true, and I hope Billy Long, in his first day as IRS chief, has killed those. Brad, immigration leads us nicely into story number 2 on the other side of the state,
and that would be
up a notch to number 2.
This story from Kansas City, brought to us by the great Tony Bateo at Tony'sKansasCity.com. The news story was reported by KCTV, and friends in Kansas City, Brad, who might be here less than legally, they have a way to get a little bit of help, to get a little bit of legal status. And our friends at El Mogs might want to connect with their hombres in Kansas City for this. It turns out that a couple Mexican nationals who were here and in Kansas City came up with a pretty good plan to get immigration status, Brad, to be here legally. They offered a service to folks that were here less than legally that they could participate in a little bit of a drama, a little bit of a crime drama. What these illegal aliens, let's use that phrase, Brad, what they would do is they would pretend to have car trouble. They would pull over on the side of a road, and then a couple other bad hombres would come and steal a little bit of cash and shoot a couple bullets through their window. Then that first set of illegals could go to the law enforcement authorities and say, hey, SA, I got robbed on the side of a highway. Can I get one of those U visas? And apparently, Brad, I'm sure you know way more about this than I do, but a U visa, you could apply for a U visa if you're a victim of crime. So the illegal aliens would be able to say, I was held up on the highway, man. They tried to take my life. Look at the gunshots. And then they could get a U visa. Now, this worked, Brad. This worked really well until authorities thought, wait a minute. 11 groups of illegal aliens seem to have been committed, seem to have been robbed in the same manner, with the same gun, in the same pattern here in Kansas City. That seems a little strange to us. So this ring was busted, Brad. And apparently, the punchline is the going rate for this is about $4,000. So if you're at El Mogs and you're thinking about starting a similar scheme, you could probably charge about $4,000 to your illegal alien buddies, stage a fake robbery, and then get them a U visa. See, Brad, that's the capitalism you're talking about. Immigrants coming here, contributing, coming up with a good drama, a good play. Why wouldn't we want to give them a U visa, Brad?
Oh, see, but you know what? Here we go again. The criminal mind. Sometimes you look at these things they come up with, and it's like, okay, if they would do positive things instead of criminal activity, think of the money they could make. You know what I mean?
I absolutely. And you know what? They could go wash dishes at El Mogs.
Oh, well, what $4,000 a job? I mean, that's like probably a couple months' pay or something like that, or at least 1 month's pay.
I mean, but Brad, what I love about this is this seems like the kind of thing that would work a couple times. But when you do it 11 times, people are going to start to get suspicious.
They should have mixed it up a little bit. They should have used a couple. They should.
Yeah, somebody should have had like maybe a bow and arrow.
Or one of them would have been a shotgun. One of them would have been like an AR or something like that. Hey, it's not the same gun they used the other time. That kind of thing.
I love that the ballistics test came back and said that every single case used the same gun. Okay. It's like, come on. And then the suspects were like, we don't know.
So it is. So here's a question for you. Are the U visas then void? Are they going to void all those visas out?
Yeah. You know what? I don't think I have the story up in front of me. I don't see if the previous ones, if the initial ones have been yanked yet. So I guess that would be a good follow-up from KCTV5.
That is interesting because of the fact that I had heard that before, but I didn't really realize there was an actual category of a visa on that. So the U visa, interesting.
Yeah, the U visa. That means I mean I don't know what U stands for. I'm guessing it's just I guess it's just a federal code, but maybe it stands for useless or unreal. Maybe it's an unreal visa.
Hold it. Someone on the show just texted me that's what they call the Oprah visa. Do you know about this?
Oh, no. What happened?
You get a visa, and you get a visa, and you get a visa, and you get a visa. It's the Oprah visa. That's what it is. Okay. We ready for number one?
We sure are.
The number one.
The Missouri Republican State Committee got together on Saturday morning and had a vote. And Brad, by a vote of 36 to 32, former Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder was elected the new chairman of the Missouri Republican Party, clocking in at 32 votes. At a very close neck-and-neck race is former state senator Bill Eigel. Would also point out that vice chair elected was Jennifer Bukowsky from Mid-Missouri. She's a longtime Republican attorney. She's a trial attorney in the Mid-Missouri area, very high profile. So her and Peter Kinder will be leading the Missouri Republican Party going forward. But I wonder what Bill Eigel is going to do now that the Missouri Republican Party election is over.
John, it's funny you should mention that, because guess who our guest is in the very first section of B Block coming up. Guess who that would be, John? Guess.
Is it Steve Allman?
No, it's not Steve Allman.
I know, Joe Ortworth. It's Joe Ortworth.
You know what? You know what, John?
What's that?
I'm going to pray for you.
Hey, Jesus loves you.
Yeah, that's the class. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's the punchline. For folks who don't know, they might want to Google Joe Ortworth, which is spelled Ortwerth, and Elliott Davis, who is a bulldog investigator. If you're over the age of probably 40, you definitely remember Elliott Davis. Yes. And he would go out and interview politicians. And he had a series of annoying questions for Joe Ortworth that Joe didn't want to answer. And Joe just reminded Elliott that Jesus loves Elliott. And Joe just wouldn't. And at one point, Elliott goes, I know he does, but will you answer my question? And Joe Ortworth just said, Jesus loves you, Elliott.
Well, hold on. Did Elliott retire? I thought he was still there.
Oh, I mean, he might still. Yeah, he's still reading the news, I think. I don't know if he does a whole lot of reporting right now, but I've seen him on TV reading the news, though.
He was the best. I mean, you talk about a bull-nosed, dogged investigative reporter. I mean, that guy. See, that's what we lack nowadays. That's the kind. And this Mark Maxwell guy, he does somewhat of that as well too. Which I think is excellent, because it keeps everybody on their toes. Because you never know when Mark Maxwell or Elliott Davis is going to corner you in a vestibule as you're walking down the hallway or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Hey, but sometimes you might get worked on a vestibule, and then it turns out that Banjo Papula gave a contract out, and there actually is no vestibule, Brad.
They put up a wall.
They just made it up. Hey, you know who used to be great at that too, and you remember this? Jamie Allman on Channel 4 used to be great about finding some poor sap and shoving a camera in his face too.
Yeah, and look what happened to Jamie. Okay, that's all.
Oh, Jamie's great. Come on.
No, look what happened to Jamie. I mean, he's tending bar nowadays or some crazy stuff like that. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
That's what he's doing. He's tending bar. I'm going like, okay.
I don't know if that's true. I've seen him do promos before at like outdoor restaurants where he says, "Come out here, get a drink." Like they have a live broadcast out there.
He's tending bar. I'm telling you, that's what he's doing. I mean,
well, good for him. Maybe that's what he wants to do now.
He's probably making more money than he can in the radio business. Okay, we have to take a break. And on the backside of this break, we will have the one and only Bill Eigel. And all I can tell you is I will give you a hint. I know what he's going to do. And all I'll tell you is I'll give you 3 letters that he's going to do this, DDS. Now, think about that for a minute. We're not talking he's not going to go back to school and become a dentist. But 3 letters, DDS, that is the future of Bill Eigel. Okay, you ready? You ready, John?
I'm ready.
We're going to break, and we'll be right back.